A Longview man was sentenced to prison for murder today.
Adrian Grissom was found guilty of murdering his girlfriend, Cyan Nguyen, back in January of 2022. A Gregg County jury today sentenced him to 30 years in prison. KLTV's J.D. Conti brings you the testimony of Nguyen's family and more.
I hereby sentence you to 30 years confinement in the institutional division.
It took a Gregg County jury just under 6 hours to find Adrian Grissom guilty of murder this morning, with deliberations taking place over 2 days. Grissom took the stand in his own defense during guilt innocence, and he did so again during punishment today, apologizing for what he testified was an accidental discharge of a firearm during a scuffle between him and Nguyen.
I accept full responsibility for what happened because the gun was definitely in my hand. I'm not trying to run away from that fact.
Prosecutors say the facts don't add up to an accident. Autopsy results showed an impact gunshot wound. A DPS firearms expert testified Grissom would have had to unlock multiple safety features.
And you pull the trigger and you depress the trigger safety device that's on there. You have now consciously made a choice.
In the punishment phase, Nguyen's mother and brother testified. Her mother spoke on the lasting effects on Nguyen and Grissom's child, who witnessed the murder. That 6-year-old child testified on day one.
They don't have their mom. They don't have TV in their life. And I hate that.
The state asked for a life sentence.
For 4 days in about 8 years. Maybe we can give Cyan, and maybe we can give all the other domestic violence victims a lot longer than that.
Prosecutors say this case is an all too familiar tale of domestic violence.
Dealt with the control factor where she probably felt isolated and like she could not tell her family. And that's one of the tactics abusers will use. So I hope this gives a voice to women in that position.
J.D. Conti, KLTV 7 News.
Adrian Grissom will also have to pay a fine of $5,000 in addition to his time served in prison.